Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. Thanks for watching on TV, online, and listening wherever you get your podcasts. I'm David Rice. That is Adam. Hello, Adam.
It's hump day.
That's right. I feel like the week kind of went by fast. I thought it would go by a little bit slower because it's the first full week back for 99% of people now that the holidays are over, you know what I mean? When you get back into the routine.
I think that Monday was a little rough for everybody.
I had a hard time waking up Monday and then prepping to do this because over the holiday, our time off, I was used to sleeping in a little bit. More than a little bit, but and then getting up early and then being here for the morning show and then this.
Yeah, so that's a lot. I really screwed my sleep schedule up a bit as well. So
yeah, well, after we're done Thursday night at center, you can watch the end of Notre Dame Penn State.
That's right.
And sleep in Friday. Well, you can't sleep in Friday, but
I won't be sleeping on Friday. But
unfortunately,
I'll come home and sleep after I'm done with the shoot.
That's right. There you go. Speaking of that, we'll talk about it in a second. But Grass Lake Michigan Center Thursday night here on JTV, girls Cascades action should be a great game, a huge game as far as standings go as well in the East for both teams. But high school hoops, the new rankings came out this week as voted on by the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. Now, if you're wondering, after I go through this, this team's undefeated around here, but how come they aren't in there? Well, they don't count teams that aren't a part of the association to be ranked. So that's the answer. But girls, we have 5 teams in the area ranked in the top 10 in the girls and 1 for the boys. Girls Division II are Western Panthers, number 6. In Division III, Leslie, number 1 in the state in Division III. And they're also in the Cascades East with Grass Lake and Michigan Center. So, and that's why I mentioned Thursday night is going to be a really big game as far as the standings as well. Because I was talking, too, with Coach View at the JC event this last Saturday about it. And not to take away from any of the teams out of the Cascades West, but it reminds me of how the Big Ten used to be in football before there were no divisions this year, because it was Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, the 3 best teams in the Big Ten. We're all in the East. So just like this, Leslie, Grass Lake, and Center, only one of those 3 teams is going to make it to the conference championship game and blow out whoever wins the West, essentially. But Leslie, number 1 in Division III. Grass Lake, despite being 3-3 so far this year, they are number 4. Now, you might be wondering, why are they number 4, even though they're 3-3? Well, 2 of their losses, one of them was to number 2 in Division II, Chelsea. Another one was to undefeated, not ranked somehow, but undefeated Division I, Detroit Country Day. And then their third loss, of course, was to Lumen this past Saturday at JC. And Lumen's number 6 in Division III. And in Division IV, Concord, the Yellow Jackets, are number 7. And Lumen Christi, the boys, number 2 in Division III. Should Grass Lake be ranked as far as the boys? Because they're still undefeated, if somebody didn't know that. Yeah, we talked about before the holidays they were undefeated. They're still undefeated now. They're 8-0.
Yeah, I mean, if you're undefeated, you should be ranked. I don't think that's too controversial, is it?
No. Well, Alabama wasn't undefeated, but that was Lane. But I know we're talking about high school hoops, but speaking of rankings, Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss, he likes to complain and complain and tweet and tweet. So after they won their bowl game, they were like, oh, well, look at us. Where should we have been ranked? Should we have gotten in? He still thinks Ole Miss should have gotten in.
Who'd they lose to? They still had a few losses. They lost to Georgia. They lost to a few teams, right?
They lost to Georgia, I think Alabama.
Yeah, well, then they're out.
And they lost to Florida in the last weekend of the regular season.
If they wouldn't have lost those games, they'd be in.
If they wouldn't have lost to Florida,
if they were undefeated, they'd be in.
Yeah, well, they would have gotten in maybe, or at least considered if they had 2 losses, but that was a third loss to 5-6 Florida.
Right. It's just weird. It's like, why don't you just win all your games then if you're gonna complain?
Right. So back to the these rankings. We will have the number 2 Lumen Christi boys coming up in a few weeks on Friday the 17th on JTV. They're going to take on Macomb Lutheran North, and the girls before that at 5:30 a doubleheader. Brought to you by Minuteman Sewer and Drain number 6. The Titans take on Dearborn Divine Child at 5:30. So Thursday night we will see the Grass Lake Warriors number 4, the Lady Warriors, taking on Michigan Center, live from Michigan Center High School. Myself and Sir Patrick O'Dowd will be bringing you the broadcast.
Has he actually been knighted yet by the Queen? I guess the King now?
As
Sir, as an official Sir?
Sir Patrick?
Yeah.
I just came up with that.
But we should organize something with him going to England so he can become Sir Patrick O'Dowd.
Yeah, well, we were texting yesterday about the game, and then he's like, "Oh, I forgot about the Notre Dame game that's on because
he's a big
Notre
fan.
Dame.
Yeah, big fan.
So, I was like, yeah, I was hoping to watch it too, and nada. So at least that starts at 7:30, and we're on at 6:45. So.
People at least get to halftime of our game by the time that game starts to get underway. I mean, you can watch all of our game, and you probably won't miss much in that Notre Dame game.
Well, if our game starts at like 7:05, our game will be done 8:30, 8:45. Yeah. So, be able to get home for the second half.
For sure.
So.
And speaking of Pat O'Dowd, we got to get him back in here sometime.
That's right.
And I know we have a couple people that are itching to be on, so
yes,
we'll have to get that scheduled.
We have quite a few people lined up for this upcoming year, this next the stretch of time that we are hoping to get on the show or will be on the show, including one big name I was told earlier today.
Oh, cool!
So
cool. If it's who I'm thinking, that's cool.
Yeah.
With the announcers, we got to get them out to do things. Like, I would love to have like you versus Pat O'Dowd in pickleball or something like that.
We do a pickleball 2.0.
There we go. But this time it's
Stu
not
Kale
informative.
officiating.
Yeah, there you go.
And we get
you against Pat.
We get Josh. We get Pat. We get
the whole
Max
team.
out there.
Oh my God! Everybody.
We do doubles.
Oh wow! A doubles tournament
or a mini tournament.
Oh man.
Yeah. And, Noah and Austin, our producer and director, they keep dying to come back on here, too.
Oh, well, we got to get them on it, too.
Yeah.
Especially
and
with this
maybe they do pickleball.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, my gosh. That's going to be great.
We just get the whole sports.
Yeah, everybody out there.
That'd be great. So we'll all be there at Michigan Center High School tomorrow night, Thursday, starting at 6:45, myself and POD, thanks to Minuteman Sewer and Drain M&K. And the Insurance Circle Agency and all of our great sponsors. My 7th basketball season here on JTV. Going to get underway Thursday night. Because I started in basketball before football, so it's always one above the other sport. So I just got done with my 6th football season, and now 7 basketball. And I think you started here a year
after. People already knew who you were, I think, by the time I started.
I think me and you actually started football at the same time, and I started that prior basketball.
Yeah, and I would have been a part of the B crew probably, B or C crew
when it was all taped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I started if for those that have been watching JTV for a long time, of course it was all taped. Mm-hmm. So I started when it was all taped, and I think the first game I ever did that you were there was at Napoleon right before COVID.
Would that have been one of the first ones?
It was me and Gabe and Kibby.
Yep. Oh wow. Yep. I remember that.
That's a small box up there in Napoleon, by the way. So
in the wrestling room.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep. You have to go through the wrestling room
to be able
to get to it. Yep.
Yeah. Can we put the trailer in the wrestling room if you can plug it in there? If there's a window that goes outside,
I don't think those steps would make it up there. I don't think you'd make it up the steps.
Oh well. See, I'm just imagining things.
Maybe we can get the truck in there. I don't know.
It's like the Family Guy, the couch thing.
Yes.
From the Star Wars.
That's right.
And Jackson College, some collegiate athletic events coming up out on campus. For athletes 8th grade through college, if they want to sharpen their softball skills, Jackson College is hosting this Sunday, January 12th, a softball skills clinic at the Vic Hughes Fieldhouse from 12 to 2:30 p.m. $40 per player. Perfect opportunity for athletes, again, 8th grade through college. And the Sportsman's Banquet for this year is coming up again for Jackson College. So dinner starts at 6:30, the raffle at 5:15. That is coming up, I believe, in February. See, I have all the other info, and I did not write down the date on here, so I apologize. The graphics right up next to me, but tickets are $55. Dinner starts at 6:30, and all the proceeds benefit Jets baseball. It's a great event.
Hey, you can win a gun.
Right? Several.
Yeah, that's right.
They have the raffle. You win a weapon.
That's right. I think our own David Barker, won one year. I think.
Was it David Barker?
I think he did. I'll have to double check. I think Andy did as well.
Didn't somebody win a pistol last year or 2 years ago?
I'll have to ask around and see who that is.
And that specific person, who I'm not going to name on here, is not a gun user or a gun person. So they were like,
you'll have to tell me who this is after the break.
They were like, oh, okay.
Really?
So
here, now that I'm on camera, mouth me the name of who it was.
Okay. But no, it's a great event, and it benefits the Jets baseball team. And we did a game there live last year.
Yeah, I hope we get to do it again.
Yeah, we're looking forward to baseball again this year. I just wish they would cut a big hole right in the net in front of our press
so you
box.
could see. Yeah.
Well, I'm more worried about our camera than I can still see. But if I ever had to do a game just looking at the monitor, I could.
Yeah.
If I couldn't see.
Oh, for sure.
So Jackson College, a few upcoming events there, and of course, always go out there. Great facility. Go and check out the air station. JPEC actually plays their high school basketball games in the air station, so
it's a cool spot to play.
Yeah, you can watch them. That limited seating though, if there is.
That's right.
any.
That's true. Yeah.
So watch their games there, and of course the men's and women's basketball teams. The women's team is having a great year. Several players on their team leading the nation in for JUCO in certain categories and rebounds and whatnot. So the Jets having a great year. So go out and support JC. And then, of course, again, at the end of the show, we'll go through our entire January schedule. But we've got Jackson High coming up on Tuesday, and then we'll be at Lumen for that doubleheader next Friday the 17th. So great way to kick off our basketball season here on JTV. And more high school sports when we come back. The hockey this past Saturday from Optimist Ice Arena. If you missed it, we'll have the highlights when we return. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, and thank you to Pataki Orthodontics, a great smile. Always in style at Pataki, Grass Lake, Hillsdale, and Coldwater. So the first meeting this year between United and Lumen was a little bit closer. United got on the board. The second meeting was a little different than the first meeting this year.
Yeah, I think I made this comment, I think it was Monday's show, that I felt like at a certain point I was just constantly staring at one side of the ice. Like they just couldn't get the puck out of the zone. But yeah, Lumen Christie looked great.
And United is at home tonight, Wednesday, against Bedford. They're making quite a trip to Optimist.
Yeah, coming all the way out to Optimist.
And then Lumen tonight has to go all the way to Grosse Pointe Liggett.
Wow.
7 o'clock game, too. So they will be home at 12:30 in the morning tonight. That's according to Andy Hawley.
I bet he's telling the truth.
So because I was watching and it was like 4-0 after the second period. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's only gonna be 4 or 5-0. And I tune in like 4 or 5 minutes later and they're wrapping it up. I'm like, wait, did I miss something? I missed 4 goals.
Yeah, and Brandon was on top of it, though. He was counting down the goals, saying, like, this might end up
I
being...
talked to Noah. He claimed he said he knew, but didn't tell him.
Oh, that's
Didn't
funny.
tell anybody. But if you missed the highlights, you can check out photos, too, on our website, by the way, from our own Jeff Steers with his step ladder at the ice arena at JTV.
I kept getting shots of him, but Austin wouldn't take them. But I kept getting shots of the step
Oh.
stool. But
Well, he wants to get Jeff on camera,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't take the...
he did at one point, and then I kept going back, and he wasn't about it.
We can check out his pictures on our website, jtv.tv. And if you missed the highlights, here they are.
Lumen Christie is the home team. Jackson United serves as the road team. It's hockey night in Jackson as we are off on JTV Sports.
State United's been so much more fluid and seamless with these line changes.
Back end, wrapping it all the way around. Allen with it, tied up, puck loose. Luke Demott is on fire in these games. He scores the first goal here for Jackson Lumen Christie. A wide open look in the slot, and it's 1-0. Now United has numbers. If they can get to the puck, they can't, and Hughes is going to have to come out and play this. He's going to cover it, hearing it from the bench. Smart play, and Coach Grimes not happy with his team letting that opportunity of the 2-on-1 go.
Shout out to producer Noah Baker for putting the scaffolding up. He did a great job keeping us safe up here, as rickety as it might be.
Turnover, move, put on, and Gregory scores his 22nd point on the year. 10th goal of the season. A turnover by Jackson United. Favorite. I was gonna ask, what is Pat O'Dowd's favorite go-to at McDonald's?
Oh, you should know by now, Matt.
I can only imagine what he's doing at the beach. Shot, score, power play goal, the first of the season for Jackson Lumen Christie, makes it 3-0 here at Optimus Ice Arena.
JTV.
Wrapping around, United with it as we settle back in here. 3-0 the score. Another cross in front, another rebound, and another score for Jackson Lumen Christie. Oh my, it is 4-0. Another shot, another goal here for Jackson Lumen Christie. Madden Brady scores his 4th of the season. The sophomore makes it 5-0. Period number 3. Shot, glove save, trickles through the hole of the glove of Hughes, and it's another goal to make it 6-0 for Jackson Lumen Christie. Help United has Gregory get around it, the captain for Lumen Christie. Walicki gets it back to Gregory, another shot, another goal, that's a hat trick for Brody Gregory. He scores his 3rd of the game, and it is 7-0. Against Jackson United this season, everything has gone right, and Hughes, who is really a great goaltender, just hasn't been able to have the puck luck that he needs against a powerful team in Jackson Lumen Christie.
Really just weird, bad bounces. That glove right there, and then off the board early for the first goal by Dumont.
Another takedown here, covered up, and Hughes is taken down. To Andy and Jennifer on the Monday Morning Podcast. Get a chance to check it out.
Oh, they really do. I mean, all these shows JTV has added on top of Bart's amazing show. You've got the Monday Morning Podcast.
That one's going to skip through and take makes his second goal of the game, 8-0 in favor of Jackson Lumen Christie as they start running away with this thing. That eighth goal actually creates a mercy effect here in the third period, with it being a shutout with 8:18 left to go. That actually ends the game in a mercy fashion. 8-0 will be the final score here on JTV Sports.
Welcome back here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. 888-5027, myinsuranceCircle.com. So some NFL news. 2 teams have GM openings and 6 teams have head coach openings. Let's start with the head coaches. The Patriots, of course, after only giving Gerard Mayo 1 year, which, by the way, is still not right. He was handpicked to be Belichick's replacement, and then they only give him a year.
Well, anytime that they give a coach 1 year and it's not for like a weird special circumstance, like, you know, some weird allegations or something comes out, like where they have to get fired, like to get fired based on performance of one season, I don't know what they expected out of. It's not like we thought the Patriots could be a playoff team this year. So I'm just,
right.
Unless there were disagreements.
Who knew they were going to be top 5 pick?
Yeah, I'm very surprised, but the other ones not so surprised about.
No, the Bears, I'm not shocked. They've had the opening, but the interim obviously has been interiming, if that's a word.
You just made it one if it isn't.
See, I'm doing something smart today.
Yeah.
Jacksonville getting rid of Doug Peterson. You know, Jacksonville only gave Urban Meyer 1 year when he was there.
Well, yeah, but like I said, and that was the person I was thinking about the special circumstances thing. Because remember, it was the thing with the bar and all that stuff. And,
well, that was Ohio State.
No, he was with Jags at that point, wasn't he?
That was his last year at Ohio State when that happened.
I thought that was when he was on the Jags staff. I thought that's why he got fired.
No, they
really
got fired because he's not meant to be an NFL coach.
Well, that's for sure. And there were plenty of problems with that as well. Like that whole thing didn't work out for him.
No. Was Trevor, what year did he coach them? Because I forget if Trevor Lawrence was already.
It was his first year. It was Trevor Lawrence's first year.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Rookie Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer and
because then second season with Dougie P, and then that was when they won that first playoff game. So people were like, "Whoa!" I think, at least they were in the playoffs, and people thought like, "Well,
I think they were in the playoffs. Remember, they were up.
Against
either
the
they were up
Chargers?
or they were down like 28-0, and the other team came back and won.
That's right. That's right.
I think Jacksonville was up, and then they blew it, and then from there on, it just went downhill, and they haven't made the playoffs since then. But Jags have an opening. The Jets have the head coach and GM opening.
Can we talk about how...
I do want to talk about the Jets in a minute. Because there's a lot of question marks with them. Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be the coach. Is he going to let Aaron Rodgers basically be the LeBron James as far as running the team? Well,
I was going to say about the Jets, to stay on the Jets, is that I remember everybody having a discussion back when Robert Saleh was hired, and everybody wanted him to come to Detroit to be the head coach of Detroit. And then we get this random coach named Dan Campbell, and we're like, who the heck is this guy? And why didn't we take Robert Saleh? And it's just like, well, you can kind of see now. You can see now. You know, they made the right decision.
Right. Well, I tell you what, there should be another team on this head coach opening list after they lose to the Eagles on Sunday.
No. Oh, come on. You are crazy. You actually think LaFleur should be fired?
There's a lot of fans who want him gone.
Really?
Yeah. It's the numbers starting to get higher and higher.
Gosh.
You know who our special teams coordinator is? He filled in for the Raiders after, I think, was it after John Gruden got fired? Rich Bisaccia.
Oh, yeah. I remember
He was
him.
a special teams. Yeah, he's our special teams coordinator.
So you want him to take over?
No, absolutely not.
But you want LaFleur fired? You have to make the decision as part owner, of course.
Well,
If
as
you were had
part
to vote,
owner,
if you had to
know.
vote, if like they came to a vote and we're like, hey, we're gonna ask all the part owners, do you vote for us to fire our head coach? What would be your? It just says yes or no. That's it.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. Your team is good. As much as I give you guys crap, your team was right there in the thick of it at the end of the season.
Well, based on how last year, because let's be honest, last year nobody expected Green Bay to go on that run at the end of the year and beat the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I know, of course, we lost to the Niners because that always happens.
Yeah, but
But
that
nobody
Cowboys
expected the way the season ended it for it to be that way. And they're the youngest team ever. This year's Green Bay team was the second youngest team ever to make the playoffs, and last year was the youngest. So the expectations coming in this year, like, okay, so you did end up making the playoffs and doing everything you did last year. So now the expectation coming in this year was really high. And the three teams ahead of them, as far as I think, who are better than Green Bay, in the NFC, we've lost two already. We lost the Lions twice, we lost the Vikings twice, and we lost the Eagles week 1.
And you guys lost to, this isn't me rubbing it in, this is just me talking, but you also lost to the Bears. So it's like when you look at your division record.
Correct, and now we're 1-5 in the division.
1-5 division record is bad. Yeah. But the Vikings and Lions games, look at how good those teams are. Like, those aren't easy games. The Bears game, yeah, you guys should have won the Bears game. But other than that, like, you guys should still be happy with how the season went, other than those interdivisional games.
Right, because they were 10 and 1 outside of the division.
Well, and then
which is the best for any team in the league outside the division.
You had injuries, and all types of stuff. And
Christian
again,
Watson, I shouldn't count him because he's always hurt.
Malik Willis had to start a few weeks. There are some,
and we went undefeated with Malik Willis at quarterback.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys still
just saying, if Jordan Love's not fully ready for Sunday.
I like
Malik Willis.
Oh my gosh! Against the Eagles,
he already played against the Eagles week 1.
But you, I thought you had no hope the other day. Now are you starting to get a little closer to gets the game time? Are you getting a little bit of hope?
No, I still don't have a lot of hope. But I'm just saying, if
you're still confident,
I would still be confident
that at least
little that I have.
Yeah, that
Malik
at least
Willis
your starting
played.
quarterback is going to be, settled and
right. But when Willis got hurt too against the Bears, that's when I was like, and it was also a hand injury. I'm like, oh no.
But bring in the Wildcat. No, I don't know.
They'd have to
do, I guess that's all they have on the
roster.
roster.
We looked at the depth chart on Monday's show.
Yeah,
just a line right.
I have a theory. I think it's that chin strap. I think it's that chin strap is cursed for quarterbacks for Green Bay. Have you seen that whole thing with the
chin strap?
Yeah. Do you know that whole story where it's like that single bar chin strap that they have that just goes across here, the famous Aaron Rodgers chin strap?
Yeah.
Only Green Bay quarterbacks wear those. So like Bart Starr wore that, and then when
Brett
Favre showed up, he went with that just the normal chin strap, and then Aaron Rodgers did the exact same thing, and now Jordan Love and Malika is doing it. So it's just like a thing that they do, but it's just like maybe that's what's making them cursed. I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Really? Oh yeah, look it up. It's interesting. There's a whole background story on it on YouTube. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers are not going to win on Sunday. That's the summary of.
I like
that
you say 13. I
like
13-time
world champion.
I'm just how many of those is with Vince Lombardi though? That I'd be curious about. There's got to be a good amount because I think they won 4 with him before the merger or before the Super Bowl, and then they won the 2 with him during the Super Bowl.
4 or 5, including Super Bowl and championships.
Yeah, because then you guys won with Holmgren, if I remember correctly.
Brett Favre,
and then you won one with McCarthy. Ugh.
Yep.
So
you're looking at Mike McCarthy now, how bad the Cowboys are. It's like, wait, Green Bay won a Super Bowl with that guy?
Well, and then not to get sidetracked, but speaking of Mike McCarthy, how on earth does he still have a job? How the heck
he was
did
trying to get the Bears interview. That's and the Cowboys denied it. Said no, you're not allowed to interview him.
It's so crazy. Last year, going into towards the end of the season,
we thought for sure he was gone.
I thought he was gone, and then it turns up that no, he's staying. And I remember thinking like that was my biggest shock of the season was like I can't believe he didn't get fired. So going into this year, I thought if he has a bad year, not like he can go 500 and he'll probably still be okay or slightly over. But if he has a bad year,
He could go 3-14 and they'll still be okay because Jerry Jones doesn't know what he's doing. A reporter just asked him after Sunday's game, their last game, will you consider hiring a general manager? He's like, no, I bought the team when I was 46, so I could do it.
That won't happen. I know that won't happen. I know they're trying to put pressure on him to try to relieve his GM duties, but
he's so bad with the general manager.
He does have a point, though. It's almost just like it's his team. He bought it.
Well, I know, but he also sets the expectation that they're America's team. They want to win, and that's not happening as long as he is the general manager.
It couldn't happen to a better team. Cowboys or the Packers, if this happened to, I would find it hilarious. Those would be the two teams. Other teams, I just feel
we're just talking about the Cowboys right now.
Yeah, and that's fine. But to me, it's just like I see the Cowboys doing poorly, and it's just like, because it's like not the biggest fan of McCarthy, not the biggest fan of a lot of their players.
I'm not the biggest fan of McCarthy. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl with Green Bay. We'll never, eventually his name will be in the stands in Green Bay.
Really? You think it will eventually be up there? You think Green Bay will look fondly on him?
I mean, anytime you win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. There were just some years, and that's a funny thing, and it happens a lot with the Packers, where it's like, it's not like they have a bunch of bad seasons. It's just they have always, like the Cowboys, they always have extremely high expectations, the fans do, going into the season every year. And
we still finish.
It probably helps with your last three quarterbacks, what they've been. But, like, you guys always have a shot, and then it just ends in disappointment, compared to, like, a team like the Lions, who have never been able to get to that spot, or the Bills, who they could get to the Super Bowl every year if they wanted to, and they just keep losing.
The 90s, didn't they go there,
that's
3 times?
They went 4 times. They
went
there
four times, and they didn't win.
Lost every single time in a row. Lost 4 in a row. So it's, you have a lot of teams that have super high expectations, but then you have like teams like the Lions who now they have high expectations, but in the past it's just been like,
you go Love, Rodgers, Favre. There was a quarterback, 1 or 2 in between Favre and Starr, but then Bart Starr.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have had.
And then if you go way back to black and white before Bart Starr's Lambeau.
Oh, is that so? I don't know tons of their history before like Bart Starr and Lombardi, but that's where
Curly Lambeau was a quarterback or a player on the team, and then a coach, and that's where Lambeau
and then that's where they that makes sense.
So, but the back to the head coach opening. So with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, I think it's all going to depend. Honestly, I think they're waiting to see what he does before they hire a head coach, because Aaron Rodgers, I compare him as far as running a team to like LeBron. Rodgers is going to want to pick the coach, and it's his team.
Dude,
it shouldn't be that way.
The Jets are crazy if they do that. The Jets are insane. You have a quarterback that might be there for 1 season, and if you let him dictate your next 4 to 10 years of your future of your franchise, I feel like that's a horrible decision. I don't care who you are.
But there's one candidate who they already interviewed who said, I'm not letting him control the team. It's going to be, I'm the coach. You want to know who that is? Former Jets coach Rex Ryan has expressed interest that he wants to come back. And he already has done an interview.
There's no way. He did not. Did he really do an interview?
But,
there's no way.
Hey, I will say the last time they made the playoffs and the last time they had any sort of success, Rex Ryan was the coach.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny if he came back to New York. I don't see it happening. I see them getting somebody. I see them trying to go after. Now, I don't know yet, but I see them going after a Ben Johnson or a Aaron Glenn. I feel like that they're going to go after a coach.
I saw something. Aaron Glenn has 4 coach interviews in a week coming up.
Dang. Well, he needs to be focused on running this defense over the next.
Well, Dan
month.
Campbell's on vacation right now, so.
Well, he deserves it. We have a bye, so.
Yeah.
Starbucks runs. I guess. Where do you know where he's going to? Where he's on vacation, or is it just like they have just the week?
I don't know, but he'll see Mike McCarthy if he's in Cancun.
Maybe Rex Ryan will be there.
Well, Rex Ryan has to work for ESPN like a dog every day. But the Raiders have an opening. Yesterday, they just fired Antonio Pierce.
I saw that again. How long did they give him? Was that another just?
He was
year?
interim for the end of the previous year,
Which,
and then this year.
To me, I can't count that. So I mean,
This
it
year.
sucks. That's another coach that's kind of. But that
1
team's
year.
been bad. That team's been very
know.
bad this year.
What if they would have beat Kansas City? You know, they only lost on that bad snap.
If they could have beaten Kansas City, that could have saved his job because they could look back at that being like, it's there, it's always there.
Right, exactly. And the Saints have a head coach opening.
The
Dennis
Aints.
Allen was 1 year.
The Aints, yeah. I wasn't super another team along with,
But they were kind of injury rid. Like Derek Carr got hurt.
That's what I was gonna
and
say.
it went
Like,
downhill.
I'm taking the Jets out of this just because the Jets are just a very interesting and weird franchise. But like the other teams, it's like Raiders, Saints. They had injuries. They had stuff. We knew they weren't going to be really good going into the season. So
Other than I'm going to cross off the Jets because, like you said, it's kind of an interesting
Yeah.
story there. But other than the Patriots, which I'm scratching off because I just found that as a shock, the other 4, Bears, Jags, Raiders, Saints, were all not surprises.
Yes, I would say maybe the biggest one of them all beginning of the season. If you gave me this at the beginning of the season, I'd be like, yeah, that all makes sense. The only one I'd be surprised beginning of the season would be the Jaguars, but based on how they played, I know why they fired him.
Well, also Trevor Lawrence getting killed didn't hurt either.
No, yeah.
So, and then the Jets have the GM opening too. Now, a big name I've heard a lot with the 2 teams that have GM openings, Louis Riddick from ESPN.
Oh,
because he played in the NFL. He used to be director of personnel something rather with a few teams, and then joined ESPN.
My GM knowledge is not that great. I don't really know who's other than our GM. I don't really know who's GMs for different teams and stuff. But I mean, those teams, Jets, Titans, they need specifically the Titans need a full overhaul of that staff. That staff is terrible.
The Bears owner, McCaskey, I think that's his name, did a press conference yesterday, and a reporter straight up just asked him, how come every time you hire a new coach, you've had 12 since whatever year it was, I think 04 or 05? The reporter was like, how come every time you hire a new coach like that, you always say, this is going to be the great move, and then you get rid of them after 1 year? Basically asked them, how come you only keep coaches for 1 year? And he's like, well, we hear the fans' concern, and we totally understand. We want to be winning as well. And the usual, we're disappointed, blah, 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 blah.
Trust me, I'm not upset that the Bears are having a tough time, but it's just like, dude,
no, both of us are not
Yeah,
upset by that.
they just can't put it together.
Now, the Titans, they have a GM opening, and they have the number 1
In
pick.
a year that they have the number 1 pick. That's always fun. That's always a nice little incentive as well to that GM and coach that come in.
Yeah, don't bleep it up if you're the new GM.
If you're the Titans, who do you pick right now? If you had to pick somebody,
Travis Hunter.
Oh, that'd be your number 1. So you don't go quarterback,
He's the best player in the draft.
but you don't go quarterback.
Well, they have Will Levis. I'm not saying he's good, but because he's not. But they have Will Levis and Mason Rudolph, 2 younger but kind of veteran quarterbacks who are decent, but because they play for the Titans, it looks like they suck. So,
So you wouldn't do Shadur or Cam. I'm not like absolutely sold on Shadur for it.
I would go, if I'm the Titans, I'd go Shadur number 1.
Okay.
And then the Browns have the number 2 pick. Now they have Jameis Winston at quarterback, Deshaun Watson, whenever he comes back, unless if something happens again.
To me, Cleveland, you're so deep in it now. You go out and get Travis Hunter. That's how I look at it. You're deep in it right now. Go get yourself a weapon. Go get yourself a guy that's going to be good for the next 5
that's what I was going to say. They have Deshaun Watson, but until he comes back, they have Winston.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Jameis Winston, I know the interception's a problem and their record isn't very good, but Jameis Winston's not a horrible quarterback.
It's not horrible. It's just they got a lot of money in quarterback right now, so that's probably not the spot they should go.
Right, and that's what I mean. So you get Winston / Deshaun Watson. I would take Travis Hunter at number 2. And then Let me go back
Giants would be third.
to my Monday notes here. Number
3 would be the New York Giants.
Yeah, number 3 is the Giants.
Would that be Cam Ward? They would probably go quarterback, right? They would probably.
You think they'd go quarterback?
I think they'd go quarterback because they're kind of have egg on their face after this whole we're gonna give up Saquon because this is Mac Jones's year, and then Mac Jones plays like garbage. I could just see this being them giving up on him. Not Mac Jones. I meant I always call him Mac Jones. Daniel Jones. I don't know why I always call him Mac Jones.
Well, they're both garbage.
They're both garbage quarterbacks. Last name Jones. But yeah, with that, I might take Cam here if I'm New York.
Yeah, and because you have Malik Neighbors too at wide receiver.
Yeah.
So,
but Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors. Oh man, dude.
Ooh.
Even that receiver out of Arizona, I can't remember his name, but he looks like a beast. So it's like you have multiple options. But the quarterback would probably be smart.
And then New England at 4.
Man, they blew it, didn't they?
Thanks, Joe Milton.
They blew it, man.
The one game he plays out of every 2-3 years is the one game they didn't actually want to win.
It's so funny.
Yeah, Joe Milton actually, looked like a good starting quarterback there.
One last thing that I have to ask you on the draft is just
who's
your
Green
favorite.
Bay gonna take?
Well, but my big question is your favorite running back in college football out of Boise State. Where's he going? Who do you?
I saw
see him
yesterday
going?
he's projected to go number 12. Now, who has the 12th pick?
That makes sense. Dallas.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense because they need a running back.
I seen something yesterday. Genty to the Chargers, but I don't know why they would take him because they have Haskins and Edwards.
Yeah, but if you look at,
you get a big power back with how their offense is with Harbaugh,
fun.
with Genty,
Be fun.
and Herbert and McConkey.
It'd be really fun. What about going crazy and if you're? I said I wouldn't ask another question, but here we go. If you're San Fran, because right now
We're deep into this draft
know,
conversation here.
11th is San Fran. In a down year where they have a lot of talent, but how long is Christian McCaffrey going to hang on for? If you want to kind of change that team a little bit, you could go with arguably one of the best players in the draft. I don't think they break up
the core yet.
Yeah, and this year could be a year where they're like, all right, we shouldn't be at this spot, so let's go get a player that can make a difference this year that can help us win it for us. You've seen a lot of teams that have had off years go and get a really good player.
And just from a money perspective, not talent, but just from the contract money perspective, do you take somebody in place of Brock Purdy and give them the bag because Brock Purdy's still on his rookie contract?
I feel like where they're at in the draft, there isn't the list that I'm looking at. There's not a quarterback.
So they're at 11, right?
Yeah, and they don't show a quarterback going for at least until the second round after Cam Ward. So you're not gonna.
But the Patriots, though, back to them at 4. So you've got Shedeur, you've got the Browns at 2, Travis Hunter. You've got at number 3.
I gotta go
Giants or 3?
Giants, yep.
Okay, I would take Cam Ward then.
If you're the Giants, yeah.
To go with Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you got to go quarterback unless Travis Hunter, if he's still there, that's an interesting spot. But outside of those top 2 quarterbacks, after that would be Milrose graded, and same thing. Ewers are graded second round on everything I'm seeing.
And Dylan Gabriel too from Oregon.
Yes, are all second round stuff at least. So really, you only have 2 quarterbacks at the top of that class. And things might change. We're going to hear things are going to be different as the year goes on. That's just always how the draft is.
And really quick, because we're running out of time here, but before the break, Vikings, I had this written down. I've heard a lot more trade talk with the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy, because going into this year, he was supposed to be the starting quarterback. Yeah, and then he got hurt in the first preseason game, and then Darnold came along. And the whole year, everybody's been saying it's a 1-year thing.
They got to do something. Because you can't have those 2 quarters. You can't re-sign Darnold for X amount of years.
Now that
and
you
have
had a
McCarthy
really
behind him.
surprisingly
Yeah.
amazing year.
But then what if McCarthy comes out and doesn't play well after this injury, and then Darnold goes to another team and continues to play? They don't want that situation either. So
Because then the Vikings are screwed. Then they have to go to Daniel Jones. I know. I know. They just brought Daniel Jones up, by the way,
oh man,
to their 53-man roster this week. He was on the practice squad, technically, for the Lions game. And now he's officially on the 53-man roster. So some Vikings fans, from the post I read where it said that, or they announced it, were saying, Sam Darnold not playing well in a big game? J.J. McCarthy's hurt? Are they trying to have
No.
extra security?
No.
They're trying to think Daniel Jones might actually step onto the field.
hey, you know what? A lot of people looked at Sam Darnold. I didn't lose faith in Sam Darnold, but a lot of people did not like Sam Darnold, thinking that he looked like garbage and he wasn't going to be a good quarterback.
Well,
and then
before this year, it was
right,
horrible.
and then he balls out with this team. So it's just like maybe they have something. Maybe they're able to convert these quarterbacks that people don't like into something.
Colin Coward brought it up yesterday or 2 days ago. Because if you're the Vikings and you don't have, if you're Seattle, when's it time to move on from Geno Smith? Is it now? Is it one more year?
Yeah, I don't know what their contract is.
That's the team I've heard the most associated with trading for JJ is Seattle, because Geno Smith, you can't ask for him to put up these numbers anymore at his age.
What if
and they've got the weapons already. So they've got the weapons with Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, those two running backs, Metcalf, and Smith and Jigba at wide receivers. You put J.J. McCarthy in there, that's a great young team.
How about we go crazy and they trade for McCarthy? I'm sorry, I didn't say who. The Titans trade for McCarthy. Number 1 overall, they draft Travis Hunter.
The Vikings, you mean? If they're
No,
trading
I would say
for
JJ would trade JJ. No, like they would trade off JJ because let's say the Vikings stick with Darnold. Vikings trade off JJ McCarthy to the Titans. Titans give a bunch of picks, but not the number 1 overall. And they draft Travis Hunter since they have the number 1 overall instead of drafting Shedeur or whoever.
Okay.
So now they have like one of the top quarterbacks of last
you got
draft.
Tony Pollard at running back. You got McCarthy at quarterback. You got Travis Hunter at wide receiver and defense, really.
Yeah, however they want to play him.
So it's all going to be interesting. Right before that week of the draft, or before maybe we'll do a mock-up.
Oh, we are going to be doing so many mock drafts and stuff leading into the draft. Draft's always one of the most fun events of the year. So
yeah, maybe we kind of do a mock. You take these 2 or 3 teams. I take 2 or 3. Maybe we bring some other people from the building in here. We kind of do an actual mock
I like
draft.
that. And I like just having it to where we have the list and being like, see who has the most right or something like that. I think that'd be fun.
Right. So we'll see. It'll all be interesting. Tennessee Titans with the number 1 pick. So when we come back, we'll look ahead to our live schedule for basketball coming up in the month of January. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. That is Adam. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. Before we go here, every year on Martin Luther King Day, January 20th, Jackson High does a MLK Hoops Festival there. So that's coming back again this year. 4th annual. The JV boys taking on J High versus Waverly at 4 o'clock. The girls, Vikings, taking on Eaton Rapids. And then that's at 5:30, and then the boys, varsity, J High taking on Waverly at 7 o'clock. So, of course, nobody has school that day, but if you still want some high school basketball, Jackson High's got 3 games going on, $5 to get in there. And if you want to see those games or hear about the scores or any other scores from our Center for Family Health scoreboard or from this show, or anything else for that matter, subscribe to JTV Sports for free. get the email to your inbox every Tuesday or each week. And you can subscribe to more than one school as well. So, including our 2 colleges here, JC and Spring Arbor, plus the many high schools that we cover. So, and our entire live basketball January schedule. Here it is. Of course, next week we'll be at J High on Tuesday. And then next Friday we'll have the doubleheader live from Lumen. The girls taking on Dearborn Divine Child at 5:30. And then the boys taking on Macomb Lutheran North at 7 o'clock. Lumen Christi boys, number 2 in the state in Division 3, and Lumen Christi girls, number 6 in Division 3. And, of course, again, as we're leaving you here at Grass Lake, tomorrow night against Michigan Center, the number 4 Warriors in the girls' action against the Cardinals from Michigan Center. So, of course, stay always in touch with JTV on social media, on our website for sports, and any episodes or part of this that you missed on TV, online, and on the podcast as well. It's already hump day. Time's flying by. Again, I thought this week would go slow.
I felt like it was October not that long ago. I really did.
That's also true, except we just had Christmas and New Year's. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how it feels.
Time's
like
flying
October.
by. I don't know. But
Yeah,
it's,
we don't even have any leaves on the trees.
I don't know. But
It's not supposed to be as cold either as we thought it was tomorrow. So.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and have a great weekend, and we will talk to you Monday.